Why was Robert a stubborn child who didn't listen to advice? At school, everyone told Robert Kiyosaki that the key to success was to get excellent grades, then find a good job with a high salary. But something didn't make sense to him. He saw his teachers and family working hard, yet they were always worried about money. On the other hand, his friend Mike's father, who hadn't finished his college education, was living a comfortable life without financial worries. One day, Robert asked his father, "Why do we study hard and work our entire lives, while there are rich people who don't follow this path?" His father replied, "This is life. You have to work to earn money." But Robert wasn't convinced. He decided to find out for himself. Is money earned only through hard work? Or is there a secret they aren't telling us? Let's explore Robert's mindset and how it completely changed his life. But before that, who is the rich dad and who is the poor dad in the story? Robert Kiyosaki did not have two literal fathers in the story, but he was surrounded by two contrasting figures with different mindsets about money. 1. The poor dad. This was his biological father, an educated man with a high degree, working a government job with a stable salary. He believed that the key to success was traditional education, securing a stable job, and living cautiously without taking risks. Even though he earned well, he was drowning in debt and bills, living his life with financial anxiety until the end. 2. The rich dad. This was the father of Robert's friend Mike, a successful businessman who had not completed his college education but understood money in a different way. He did not rely on a job. Instead, he invested in real estate and businesses. He believed that assets create wealth, not working tirelessly for a paycheck. He taught Robert that financial security does not come only from traditional education, but from financial intelligence, investments, and building passive income streams. How did these two figures affect Robert? The poor dad advised him, "Study hard, get a good job, and be careful with money." The rich dad taught him, "Don't work for money, make money work for you." Over time, Robert began to understand the significant difference between the two approaches. He chose to follow the advice of the rich dad and started building his wealth through investing instead of relying on a stable job like his biological father. And thus, his life changed completely. The beginning of the story. The first lesson in money. Robert's journey began when he and his friend Mike decided to find a way to become rich. The poor dad advised them to focus on studying, while the rich dad gave them a practical lesson. He asked them to work at his small store for a low wage, and then deliberately didn't pay them to see how they would react. Robert felt angry and unfairly treated, but he learned his first lesson. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. The difference in mindset. The poor dad believed that financial security comes from a government job or a big company. He worked hard but continued to struggle financially his whole life. In contrast, the rich dad taught Robert that financial security doesn't come from a job, but from investments, assets, and developing financial intelligence. Assets versus liabilities. One day, the rich dad asked Robert, "If you buy a luxury car on credit, is that wealth or a burden?" Robert answered enthusiastically, "Wealth." But the rich dad laughed and said, "No, it's a burden because it drains money from your pocket and doesn't add anything to your income." That's when Robert learned a golden rule. The rich buy assets, like real estate and stocks, while the poor buy liabilities, like loans and luxury cars that drain their money. Escaping the rat race. Robert noticed that most people live in what he calls the rat race. They wake up early. They go to work. They get a salary. They pay bills, taxes, and loans. They wait for the next paycheck, repeating the same cycle over and over. Meanwhile, the rich break this cycle by building passive income sources such as renting properties or investing in stocks, which allows them to stop working the traditional way and enjoy life. Financial freedom, the final decision. As Robert grew older, he began to apply the lessons from The Rich Dad. He invested in real estate, started businesses, and didn't rely solely on a job, while the Poor Dad continued to struggle until his death. The Rich Dad lived with complete financial freedom. The final message: how to start your journey. If you want to break the cycle of poverty, don't just work for money. Ask yourself, does your money work for you? Or do you work for it? Do you buy assets or liabilities? Are you planning to escape the rat race? Wealth isn't reserved for the academically smart, but for the financially smart. So, what will you do now?